You would probably have noticed yesterday around Ireland that there was more people celebrating St. Patrick with the parades and so forth than celebrating what St. Patrick celebrated, which was the going to the sacrifice of Holy Mass. So our churches emptying every year, whereas the parades are bigger and bigger and we have tourists coming in. It was just an interesting it's just an interesting thing to note, even in our own town. When you look around at Mass, you see a demographic ever older, and yet we see our streets and our pubs and everything packed to celebrate St. Patrick, but we're not celebrating what St. Patrick celebrated. Anyway, I'm just going to play you this video from yesterday from Cork, and this is the new traditions that are. Now, first and foremost, any of the parents or the children that took part in the Irish dancing, I do want to congratulate you. It was beautiful Irish dancing. I just want to draw your attention to something. The Catholic Church, that Catholic Church in the sanctuary, is all designed for the praise and worship of God. So everything that we do in the church is directed towards one end. And so if we're going to have singing in the church, is to enhance our praise and worship of God. Now, I tell my ma when I go home, doesn't really lend to the holy sacrifice of the Mass. And what happens when we do this, I'm just going to read you out something. When we do these stunts, then the ministry becomes a performance. The sanctuary becomes a theatre. The congregation becomes an audience. Worship becomes entertainment. And man's applause and approval become the measure of success. And this is what the church has been trying to do. Oh, nobody's coming to church today, so we have to innovate. And they've been doing this for the last 50 years. And it hasn't worked. And so bishops are scratching their heads. Well, how do we get vocations? Look, the Dominicans are getting vocations every year. Soon they're going to have more men of vocation in formation than all of the seminarians in Maynooth. Why is that? Because the Dominicans will not put on a show for you at their masses. That's simply it. And a man looking at the charade that's happening at some of our masses, saying, I'm not going to give my life to that. I want to lead people to God, and I don't want to be the host of an entertainment session after Mass in the church. There's nothing wrong with doing that in the town square, in a pub, in the parish hall. Parish hall, great place for that. Parish hall, get everybody into the hall, sit around, get a cup of tea. That's a good location. But the Holy Sacrifice, the Mass, the church is not the location for that. But this is where we are in Ireland, and that's why we are so disoriented. We have no clue what is sacred and what's not sacred anymore. Then we're scratching, well, why don't people come to Mass? Why don't we? Well, we have to make it more woke, more entertaining, more this. And so the measure of getting people in the door is their applause. Oh, look, the church is packed. The church is always going to be packed for a show. Simply it. You see it when you travel around Europe and Prague and all these places, and in the evenings they put on a show in the church. They have a choir or something. You're always going to pack it. People like to be entertained. People love to be You're always going to pack places for entertainment. But will you pack the same place for the worship of God? No. So if the church isn't ever going to change, you need to separate the entertainment from the worship. The holy sacrifice of the Mass is the praise and worship of God. We have to preach Him and be unashamed of that. And this is why bishops, all of your vocational pastoral programs are going to fail, because men are waking up, especially young men that are interested in the priesthood, and they're looking around, well, where can I get good, solid, serious formation? And thinking, well, if I go through Maynooth, I'll end up having to do that at Mass. And I'll have to pay the bishop who tells me, well, no, this is what the parish wants to do. You just have to go along with it. If the church is going to change, you have to stop the clown masses, the entertainment. It's fine. Put it on somewhere else in the parish. Put it on the parish hall. Tons of parish halls around the country. A local school. Support it there. The church is for something else. If this is what people see, I did my Irish dancing in the church. I do it in the hall. We're not saying this is the holy sacrifice, the Mass. This is where you come to meet Jesus. And we're wondering why we've infantilized religion and the faith so much, people don't bother going to Mass unless there's entertainment. Then we go. We'll pack the church. There's entertainment on. Bravo! Great entertainment. Love it. Can we have this next week? This is more fun than the sacrifice of the Mass. Thank God they got rid of that old silent Latin Mass. That never engaged anybody. We like the entertainment. Bring on the entertainment. Bring on the bells and whistles, the guitars and the clapping. That's what engages us. And we'll come back and we'll worship that. And we've no vocations. And our convents are closing. And we're scratching our head. Why won't men give themselves to lives of faith? Sanctifying grace. What's that thing? Oh, we don't. Confessions. Do we? Oh, no, we don't give those out before Mass anymore. We don't have time for those. We'll have priests like Father Brendan Hoban saying, well, in 30 years or 20 years or whatever, he said, I barely heard 10 confessions. He said this. I can dig out the quote. And traditional priests, I prefer we didn't have those things, those men. And he's in good standing in the church, writing books and getting published. And you see where the church has come in Ireland. Give us entertainment. We want the entertainment. That's why more people worship St. Patrick or will celebrate St. Patrick than celebrate what St. Patrick celebrated. Why did he even come back to Ireland? To give us entertainment? To give us parades? What did he come here for? Return to Christ. Entertainment has its place. And the praise and worship of God has its place. Once you mix up the two, then you don't be surprised that you won't have what man would give his life for that? To have to facilitate that, and in the church, in the sanctuary. I wouldn't. I tell a man, run a million miles away from the diocesan system if that's what you're going to have to end up standing over. It's not just one place. They were going to do it in Knock, the Basilica, then it got cancelled because there was an uproar, and it pops up here and there. Pray for the church, and I give it in good spirit. But what is the church? What does the Holy Sacrifice, the Mass, stand for? And the place where you offer it, what does it stand for? Why was it consecrated for? Our grandparents would look on in shock and horror. Our great-grandparents would look on in shock and horror on what we have done to our churches that they paid for. They'd be going around slapping, what's this? They would never understood this. But the frog has been slowly boiled over the last decades. And we're nobody believes, nobody comes to Mass. Oh, we have to engage the youth, we have to do this, we have to do that. Get back to teaching them the faith. God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.